Hello and welcome to DFS Coach Talk. Today is Monday, September the 19th, 2022. I am Joe Sarvati, affectionately known as Coach, and I am joined by the one and only Josh Crash Davis. We are here with you on this Monday at a new time we've never tried before. It is 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 Central, and I guess 1 Pacific. So we've got all the bases covered. Hopefully we get some good folks to realize the time switch here on when we're doing the podcast, and they filter in as we're going. Crash, how are you after a very eventful weekend?
Yeah, I am doing well. We had a really good weekend in baseball and football, so we had some takedowns in baseball and a near takedown last night in the Packers-Bears game. So, yeah, really good stuff.
It was a lot of great to see a lot of our members posting winners there, and that was fantastic. Definitely very profitable day in baseball, and I was so excited about it because I was preaching it so much. Sundays during NFL, the first month especially, you can really kick butt in Major League Baseball because you get all that, money filtering in. So for those that did jump on it and those that were in the Discord, or not in just Discord, but on the podcast with me yesterday, it was worth it. The time that we spent definitely was worth it. And
For sure.
Great to see a bunch of winners in there. So I was so pumped, got the home run for my HR call yesterday. Vladdy hit one, and both our pitchers stepped up. It was really, it was fun. I'll tell you, though, the pitching today is a lot more complicated than it was yesterday.
It is. It definitely is.
No doubt. Well, let's say hello to the first few people that did jump in. First in, Nathan Feudy, who is starting to become the first one in on a consistent basis. I love that. King of all trades is in there. I think everybody else is like, wait a minute, why is Coach Talk starting at 4 Eastern? It doesn't make sense. So for those that aren't in yet, I hope that they're able to jump in. And if not, if you do happen to miss it and all of a sudden you jump on here at 5 Eastern, you'll be able to listen to it recorded anyway. So it's not that you'll miss it altogether. Now, Crash, couple of things. We have only a 7-game main slate on DraftKings and Fanduel, and the weird start time of 6:40. So that's a little quirky. And then at 7:05, we have the Yahoo main slate, which is 5 games. So a little bizarre, but the fact that we're coming to you at a little bit earlier time should give everybody a chance to catch it, get the lineups together, and get them in there. RJ, how you doing, man? Great to have you in there with us. So 6:40 start time. Remember that, because you don't want to have those lineups locked or set with just holders, and then all of a sudden you go in there for a 7 o'clocker and it's already started. That sucks. I've done that before.
Right.
And you're dead before you even get started. So
for sure.
The other good news, Crash, no weather issues. I think we're good across the board on the weather. No problem there at all. So let's see. King of Smack, how are you, my man? He says he was trying to post his winners on Twitter and wasn't able to. 13K, bro. 13K.
Whoa.
Oh my daggone it, man. That's what I talk about stepping up with the family right there. He dwarfed me. I had a really
good day. We need to get that out there. Let me ask him something real quick.
Yeah, so figure out, Crash will work with you. We'll get that stuff posted, because I'll tell you what, man, we really do appreciate it. We're bringing these podcasts to you every day in front of the paywall. So those that are members or aren't members, it doesn't matter. We want to share in your victories, and we really do appreciate if you do post them on Twitter, that you tag us at DFS Coach Talk so that we can show some love and celebrate with you. That certainly means a lot to us. So fantastic, man. That's the kind of Sunday that you want to have. Here, I thought I was the big man on campus with my big victories, and then King of Smack is right to his name. He King of Smacks me a good one, and he is the leader. So good stuff, man. That is great, and Crash will help you get some of that stuff posted. Lamar Jackson, Waddle, Hill, Noah Brown, Chubb, Swift. Oh my gosh, yeah, that's some almost optimal, I would say. That is amazing. All right, so great weather. 7-game main slate, DraftKings, Fanduel, 5-gamer on Yahoo. We do have a Coors game that messes everything up a little bit, but you can figure it into what you're doing. So, Crash, I'm going to give you just a little taste of my lineup today so that you don't have a heart attack and are in shock when we go through these. My pitching is like, you're going to say, Coach, have you had a blow to the head? Because my pitching is bizarre, but my hitting is going to be powerhouse. So I'm just warning you on the front side.
Okay, I understand that. I mean, this slate's a little different, a little tricky, so I get that.
Boy from Cali made it. All right, boy from Cali, great to have you in there with us, bro. All right, what do you say we get into this sucker? We might as well knock it out. Game number 1, 4:07 exactly. Seattle Mariners at the Los Angeles Angels. 80 degrees in LA, wind blowing out to center, 8 to 10 miles an hour. 7.5 is the Vegas total, 3.93 for the Mariners, 3.57 for the Angels. Logan Gilbert, 7.8K against Jose Suarez, the lefty, at 7.2K. So right off the bat, it's when we only have 7 games to work with rather than these 14 and 15 gamers. Can you go a little bit more in depth on some of these? So I guess the first question to you is, are you spending up on any of these Angels bats? And let me make sure we let everybody know, no Trout today. He has
no Trout.
Yep.
Yeah, no Trout. And this game actually just started, so we really don't need to go into it because it's too late.
Oh, that's right. That was the early game. I'm sorry. That's not
okay.
the game that matters.
Yeah. We'll have to skip over to Miami. We'll just
that was game number 8. That game was on our 4:07 slate we gave out on Yahoo. That's why I'm so interested in that game. Okay. Yeah. Never mind. Cubs Marlins. Does that excite you a little bit more, Crash?
A little bit more. Yeah.
6:40. There we go. So here's what I just said was the time. Good Lord. 6:40 Cubs Marlins, total of 7. 3.23 implied for the Cubs, 3.77 for the Marlins, obviously playing in the dome there in Miami. Wade Miley, the lefty, 6.6K against Mr. Chalky. Who'd ever think we'd say that? Chalky Edward Cabrera at 7.5K. So first of all, what do you think about this pitching in this game?
I like the Miami side. I like Cabrera on DraftKings. He's a little expensive on Fanduel. He's like 9,600, but 7,500 on DraftKings. I think that's a very fair price against this Cubs team in a pitcher-friendly ballpark like Miami. I mean, I think that that's a really good price. However, he is getting a lot of ownership on DraftKings, as you would expect at that price. So that's the only thing for me. I'm not sure I'm going to get to him just because he's going to be so highly owned. Maybe it's on my single entry lineup.
Over a $2,000 difference between DraftKings and FanDuel. That definitely messes things up a little bit.
For sure. Yep.
Let's talk about that ownership right off the bat for pitching, because obviously he's the chalkiest. On DraftKings at that $7,500 number, right now we're projecting ownership, Crash, 45% for Edward Cabrera.
Almost off the field.
DFS is hilarious, man. You'd never guess these things in advance. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah.
Who'd ever think of that? Then Corbin Burns is second against the Mets at 37%, Kershaw
Right.
28, Kyle Wright 28, Luis Garcia 23, Scherzer only 11.5, and Tyler Wells at 11. And then the rest, everybody else, single digits, including 6.2% Wade Miley, who is my value play today, Crash.
Okay. I mean, I get it. I almost went that direction, but
did you?
I decided not to. Yeah.
I thought you were going to have a gasp when I said Wade Miley, but I've got a lot of reasons behind it. You know, he's pitching against the team that's just like dead last in a million different things right now. They're just horrible barreling the ball. Their ISO's last. Their average is terrible. I mean, they are awful. And so you're not going to get a better spot for Miley. And he has two decent performances in a row, 27 and 24 Fanduel points, where he struck out 5 and 6, gave up 1 and 2 earned runs against San Francisco and Cincinnati. And then, you know, remember, he also pitched well against the Yankees, and he pitched, you know, decently against the Pirates. He had a 49 fantasy score 5 games ago. So it's Wade Miley. I get it. But, you know, the Marlins don't hit. They don't hit lefties. And it makes sense to me. And because he's 6,600 on DraftKings, 8,000 on FanDuel, he just, you know, it's hard for me to get away from him on those two slates, because he makes all of my hitting work. And I didn't think I'd have Wade Miley plugged in, but at 6% ownership as well, I will take that leverage all day long. So
yeah, I mean, I do. I almost landed on it myself. Did you see this comment that King of Smack just made about yesterday? So he was sitting at 104 grand until the Bengals gave up those points to Dallas at the end.
Oh, so bittersweet.
Oh my word. Yes.
Wow. Well, hey, you know what?
Shout out to you for having a lineup that even put you in that place, man.
That is fantastic. And you know what? What he did win is fantastic. And that's, you know, it goes both ways. It happens. So yeah, that definitely changes things up a little bit. But hey, take the W, sock it away, and go for it. Great to see you, Bev. Thanks for joining JT. Thanks for jumping in.
Sorry, Coach, but he's buying a 76 Skylark with some of that money.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
How about that? Hey, that's fantastic, man. How about you post a picture for us? Tweet us a picture when you get it, man. We want to see that. Celebrate some DFS winnings in style there. Very cool. You know what's really sad? I was in middle school when the 76 Skylark came out. Sad. All right, so anyway, I'm glad no one had a heart attack about my Wade Miley call. I'm telling you, you'll like it when I get to my bats later. As far as any of the sticks in this game, Crash, I don't particularly, obviously not going to go with any Marlins. Maybe a one-off for the Cubs here and there because they're super deep. That's
I could see some Birdie or some Anderson. I think would probably be my two favorite righties in this matchup.
On the Marlins side, don't take any Marlins against my Marlins.
On the Marlins side,
a couple of Cubs go cheap. Gomes was a star for me yesterday.
Yeah, McKinstry's been leading off. He hit a home run the other day. He's super cheap, you know, leading off. So I could see going to him for some value too, especially against the chalky Cabrera. Yeah, especially against that chalky Cabrera play. So
exactly. If you're not playing Cabrera, which I'm not, I mean, it really is tempting to get to some Cubs because you get the double whammy there, and they're dirt cheap too. Happ, Gomes, Reyes, Higgins, Bodie, all those guys. You know, give me a couple of Cubs. Let's get after this Cabrera dude.
Sounds good.
All right, we go to the second game, and I'm not going backwards, so we're not going to go back to this 407 game, but I am interested in it. 640 though. Astros, Tampa Bay Rays. Total is 7 in Tampa, in whatever they want to call that dome stadium.
Right.
3.38 implied for the Astros, 3.62 for the Rays. Luis Garcia, 8.3K against Drew Rasmussen, 9.1K. What do you got?
Just a second. I had to let my dog out. So yeah, I actually like Rasmussen a little bit here.
Okay.
He allowed, 2 runs or less in 9 straight starts before his last start in Toronto, which I know he struggled in that game, but
Yeah.
I'm talking about a good chunk of the year that he was pitching very good baseball. And last year is the only time he faced Houston. He had 5 shutout innings. He only had 2 strikeouts, so he only got 27 Fanduel points. But I think he can get a few more strikeouts this time around. And, I think that he can get there closer to what we would want for that price tag.
And I'm telling you, on this slate, if you get 25 to 27 from your SP2, you're okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you want to be. Because
Right.
it's not like yesterday where you could cherry pick out these 50, 40, and 50 point, pitchers.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
going to be slim pickings.
It is.
So if you like Rasmussen, are you fading the Astros altogether?
I think so. It's a pitcher-friendly park. Like I said, Rasmussen's been pitching very well, and with the exception of that last start, 10-5 on the year. And I think I am going to fade the Astros because there's like 3 other teams that I really like the bats for that are more expensive bats. So
same for me. I mean, pretty simple for me. I respect both pitchers enough that I don't want to really take many hitters against them. I respect the Vegas total, but I'm not going to go with either pitcher. But I'm probably going to be empty on this game.
Yeah, I hear you. I probably am too, and I don't even know if I'm going to play Rasmussen for sure. So yeah, I'm right there with you.
Okay, let's go to game 3 then. That makes it an easy one. It is 7:05, so this begins the 5-game Yahoo main slate, if you want to call it that. But it's the final 5 on the DraftKings and Fanduel 640 main slate. Tigers and Orioles, 7:05 in Baltimore. Total is 8. 81 nice degrees. Slight breeze blowing out to center at 6 miles an hour. 3.20 implied for the Tigers. 4.80 for the Orioles. Tyler Alexander, lefty, versus at 5.2K, like I said, against Tyler Wells, 6.1K. What do you say about Tigers Orioles?
Yeah, this is one of my favorite stacks. I like pitching against or hitting against Tyler Alexander. And so I'll have, probably 4 or 5 Orioles. I think I will. I think I'll get to 4 or 5 of those guys.
That heavy of a stack, huh?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a good spot for Baltimore. So yeah, I think I'll probably at least get to 3, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if I get to 4, maybe even 5. So yeah.
Wow.
I do like Baltimore here quite a bit. Good against lefties. I like Rutschman and Mountcastle, Santander, even Henderson. He can hit lefties too. It's interesting they moved Mullins down to the bottom of the lineup. I know they're facing a lefty, but I mean Mullins can hit lefties. So
yeah, they're batting him 8th. That's pretty bizarre.
Yeah,
but interesting. Yeah, I don't like either Tyler at all, really, and the hitting, it's hard to ever count on anybody from Detroit. Maybe Baez as a one-off isn't a bad play, I don't think.
Yeah.
I like the Orioles. I'm always pretty heavy on the Orioles, but I'm so strong on my stacks here today. I just don't have a lot of room to slide any of these guys in. And, it's just Rutschman, Mountcastle, and Santander are all good. They're pretty expensive, though. Even Gunnar in the 6 hole at 3.4K, and then Urias at 3K and Mullins at 5.5 down in the 8 hole. I couldn't get any of them in there. I wouldn't mind a one-off, but I'm not going to have that much exposure here either. So I'll tell you right now, folks, my action's on the late game. So if you're with me, don't panic when you see that arrow at the wrong end of the chart early on, because we're going to come spiking up later. That's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, they're all still, maybe this is more what I was looking at on Fanduel. They're all still like Henderson is 3,400. He's the most expensive, but everyone else is 3,100 and below. So yeah, they're really cheap over there.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, that site, and I'll tell you right now, and it's happened really since the NFL started. Let's face it, the baseball pricing has sort of gone bonkers on all three of them, DraftKings, FanDuel, and Yahoo. There's more, just I think less attention paid and less focus on making sure that those are coming out correctly. And I know they have all these algorithms and all this stuff set up, but I do believe as the year goes on, they tweak stuff. And I think just, because the NFL gets so much play, baseball sort of gets squeezed out, and you can see some of that in some of the pricing discrepancies,
Yeah. Yeah. And this is one of the few weekdays where we have baseball and football going on. So, yeah.
Yep. And again, the fish always swim over from football into our baseball pool. So you got to love that.
Yeah.
All right, let's fly to the next one. Let's keep rolling here. 7:20 is the Washington Nationals at the Atlanta Braves. It's 83 degrees in Atlanta. No wind to speak of. 8.5 is the Vegas total. A paltry 2.75 for the Nationals and a healthy 5.75. They're up there with the Coors game. In fact, they're higher than either Coors team implied. The Braves have the highest implied total on the slate at 5.75. It's Corey Abbott, 5.4K against Kyle Wright, 8.8K. What do you think, Crash?
Yeah, I'm not on Kyle Wright in this matchup because I just don't know that the strikeout upside is there. That's my one concern, facing Washington. They've been in the top 5 of lowest strikeout percentage all year. So that's my concern with Wright. Outside of that, I don't really have a lot of concerns, but his price and the fact that he may not get more than 4 strikeouts, I just don't want to go there. I do like the Atlanta bats, though, against Corey Abbott. I think Austin Riley has been cold lately. I think he has a nice game tonight. So he's kind of the guy I'm targeting as a one-off if I don't, use the Atlanta stack. So,
gotcha. I like Kyle Wright. He's my pay-up pitcher. He's my top-owned guy. He's the guy I'm going to pair with Miley, save some cash on DraftKings, and really pump up the bats. He's only 8,800 on DraftKings, which I think is an underprice. I mean, comparatively speaking to the rest of the slate, there are times he's not, a top guy compared to everybody else, but there's just not that many great pitchers tonight at all.
Right.
I think he's the best one in the bunch. Now, FanDuel got it right at 10-1, and Yahoo very fair at 44. But, he had a bad game 2 games ago against Oakland. But if you take that game out, Crash, I know he's not going to get any double-digit strikeout games. But here's his FanDuel scores, and I'll read a bunch of them to you fast. 31, 49, 55, 43, 40, a 12, 39, 46, 37, 37, 18, 40. So, I mean, yes, he throws in an average game at times, but those are great numbers considering that, the other pitchers on the slate. The 2 times he's faced Washington this year, he went 7 innings, 37 FanDuel points, identical 2 outings in a row, 4 strikeouts and 5 strikeouts. I'm looking for like 6 strikeouts here, another 7 innings, maybe 1 run. Give me that high 30s number again, and I'm going to be fine with the stacks that I'm able to get to. So Kyle Wright, I just think, I know he stung us because I did have him in that Oakland game when he got shellacked. And so that stung, but that was an outlier. I think that he's going to be just fine. I like the matchup. I like the fact that the Nationals are just, I don't know what you want to call that, a double-A lineup or whatever. Vegas knows their stuff too. 2.75 is low. So it's all about Kyle Wright for me today in this game. No Nationals. As far as the Braves go, I want to get a Brave or two in there. I'm not going to stack them. And I know they're getting some favoritism there, and I understand that. It makes sense. In fact, let's talk about that real quick, Crash. Let's look at the stacks. On DraftKings right now, of course, you've got the Colorado teams, the game, 1 and 2 being San Fran and Colorado. But then after that Coors game, you've got Atlanta at 13%. They're the highest.
Right.
Baltimore, like you mentioned, at 10%. Then it goes single digits. Dodgers, Miami, those teams. That's DraftKings. Fanduel, you've got San Fran number 1 in Coors, but Atlanta, like you're saying, 18%, second highest owned. They even edge out Colorado in that Coors game. Then Baltimore, everybody else is single digits. And on Yahoo, you've got the Coors game. Then it's the Mets, Detroit, Milwaukee coming up there. So that's the way it looks there. So I understand your Atlanta stack. It's very tempting, but they are expensive.
They are.
I'm going to get to the stacks where I think we're going to get the most bang for our buck.
Yeah.
All right. We ready to move? Let's see. Anything else in anything other questions? We have a lot of people that have jumped in, so people got the hang of it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Welcome, everybody. I see Pain. Feeling the Pain is in there. Fear Money. Great. Awesome to see everybody here on a Monday. This is going to be a sneaky good slate. I'm really, really excited about it, to be honest with you.
These guys are loyal. I appreciate every one of you guys.
Yeah, they all make a big difference. Lil Monster, what's up, man? Let's get it. All right. We go to the another 7:40 game, and then we have an 8:40 and a 10:10. Got a late game all by itself, and I'll be waiting to see how that one comes out. But the 7:40 game, Crash, you probably don't care much about this one. It's the New York Mets at the Milwaukee Brewers. Guess what the total is in this game in Vegas?
It should be like 4, but I'm sure it's higher than that.
6.5. So there you go. Yeah. Play your under. 6.5, 3.17 for the Mets, 3.33 for the Brewers implied. Max Scherzer coming off the IL at 10.9K, and your buddy Corbin Burns at 10.6K. So let me steal your thunder. I'll say a few things and then let you take the game. You're the Brewers expert. Everybody's going to want to hear what you have to say there. I'm not going to touch Scherzer because it's his first game back. I have not read pitch count, all that stuff. I have not seen any clarification there. What I believe is going to happen is I think he goes 70 pitches or so, which isn't enough for me, especially at that price. I could be wrong.
I'm with you.
Absolutely could be wrong, but I don't see why you would want to push Scherzer. If they don't have Scherzer and DeGrom going into the playoffs, they're done. If they have those two, they could win a World Series. So I think he goes a minimal amount of innings. Milwaukee's played a little bit better ball. I think it's a press to go there. I know people still are. His ownership isn't that bad, but I'm not going to go there. Burns on the other side, I know he's probably going to be your pay-up guy. I just don't think he's pitched that great. I know I say it every time. He just seems to be underperforming. I mean, he's not bad, but he's underperforming, and the Mets are tough. They're scrappy. And so I am not going to either side on the pitching side. And because I do respect those guys and fear them a bit, I'm not going any hitting either. So when I say I might be in last place going into these last two games, I am not kidding, man, because I'm not going to have any exposure here. So take it away.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think this is going to be that high of an own. I mean, it looks like Burns is getting a lot of ownership, but I don't expect Scherzer to get a lot of ownership because of the pitch count situation, and I surely don't expect these bats to get a lot of ownership. So, he's not my fade pitcher. He's not my pay up pitcher. So that's kind of where I stand on Burns. Like I don't dislike him. I don't think he's in a bad spot. I just don't think he's in a good enough spot that I'm going to pay up for what, his price tag is.
And I will say, not to interrupt you, but Cabrera and Burns seem to be overwhelmingly the two guys that people are going to go to. They're
Yeah.
1-2 on DraftKings. They're 1-2 on Fanduel with Burns having the edge. And they're also highly regarded on Yahoo. So those are the chalk pitchers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's funny because he's been way better at home. And the one game that he didn't pitch well at home was when I was there against the Pirates.
Kiss of death.
Yeah, so he, outside of that start, he's been really good at home. So if this game was in New York, I'd say this is the easy fade. Burns is the easy fade. But no, in Milwaukee, I respect him. I think he'll do good enough to, keep his ERA down and all that stuff. But I don't think it's going to be a 10 strikeouts, 60, fantasy point type game for him. I just don't. So. Okay. I mean, the Mets don't strike out a lot either. So that's the other side of that.
Exactly. So, and no hitting for you, though?
Yelich is my BVP play, actually.
Okay.
He is 313, 10 hits, and 32 at-bats against Scherzer. 5 singles, a double, a triple, and 3 home runs. So
nice.
I do like Yelich a little bit. Scherzer is prone to give up the long ball every now and then. So I could see that happening with Yelich, although he hasn't been hitting very many long balls this year. So,
yeah, I'm not going to have much exposure.
Yeah,
I hope this game is one of those,
2-1,
4, 3 going into the 8th or whatever. I don't care, just so
it's
nobody scores a ton.
It's more likely to be like 2-1, and hopefully the Brewers.
We'll see how it goes. Jim Parrish, how are you, man? Emerson's baby Gap shirt is back. All right, man. So glad to have you back, buddy. Lady or man, I don't know which one, but I still can say buddy either way. So Great to have you in there. All right, here we go. The last 2 games, and I'll have almost every hitter on my roster tonight are going to be from these 2 games, and I can afford them, Crash, because I saved my money on the pitching side. So let's talk about the Coors game. San Francisco at Colorado, 81 degrees, no wind, 11's the total. So, of course, Coors numbers. The second and third highest implied totals to the Braves. The Giants, 5.69. The Rockies, 5.31. 2 pitchers that I don't respect. Jacob Junis, 5.9K. Chad Kuhl, 5.6K. So, go ahead. You can go first.
Yeah, this game's not really on my radar, honestly. I don't know why.
What?
I don't have that feeling about this Coors game tonight. I just don't.
Okay.
I have very little interest in either side. I think it'll go over-owned, and I think it'll go, under the score, projected score. I'm probably maybe some one-offs, I think, is probably all I'm going to have in this game. I just don't feel something about this game doesn't sit right with me. I feel like it's a fade. So that's just where I'm at.
I'll tell you what doesn't sit right with you is you're wrong. I disagree with you, my good friend. I think this is one of those 8-7, 8-6 kind of games. These 2 pitchers stink. The bullpens stink. It's 81 degrees in Colorado. I want some mini stacks from both sides. What I'm doing today, folks, if the cat's not out of the bag, is I'm going to have a third of my lineup Giants, a third of them Rockies, and a little over a third of them Dodgers. So figure out that math. I know it doesn't add up right, but if you tweak them around, it does. So I'm going to have 3 teams with all of my hitting exposure. I like this game. I think the bats, you don't have to bust the bankroll either. You can get the big bats from the Dodgers by still stacking this game. And I think there's runs scored. We already have a confirmed lineup for the Rockies. It's McMahon leading off, which I love. Daza at 2-9 batting second. Crone, Blackman, Joe, Montero, Toglia, Trejo, and Servant. So I'm all over the top 5, mainly McMahon, Daza, Crone, Blackman, and Joe. I'll have probably 3 of those guys, and feel pretty comfortable about it. And then I'm going to come back with some giants on the other side. Wilmer Flores, maybe Jock Peterson. He's got the weirdest hairdo, by the way. I saw him. I was watching the game yesterday. That hair, he needs some help with that hair. And I can say that because I have none. But, Yaz has had a terrible year, but they've got lefties. Four of the top 5 batters are going to be lefty against Chad Kuhl. So they should smack them between Wade, Yastrzemski, Flores, who I like, the only righty, Peterson, Crawford. So, I want a couple of those lefties with Flores. And maybe even down at the bottom of that order, you can get a cheaper J.D. Davis. He may be moved up in the order today. So, he's there. Luis Gonzalez at 2.3. So I will have a lot of exposure here. Mini stacks, if you will, maybe 2-3 guys each for sure at the minimum. And I think this is going to be a high scoring game with bad pitching.
We'll see. I think it could be. I mean, I do think it could be, but the big thing is the ownership. San Francisco is the number 1 projected and Colorado's number 3. I just don't feel like these lineups are good enough to deserve that. So we score 10 runs more, 10 runs or more each, but that's just kind of how I feel about these lineups right now.
They are the first and second or first and third stack teams on all 3 sites, but I think deservedly so. But they're my second and third favorite stack because my favorite stack crash is in this last game. It's time for me to go with some LA Dodgers love here.
Yeah.
Spend the money. And I've got some lineups where, believe it or not, I can fit a combination of like Betts, Freeman, and Smith, or Betts, Turner, and Freeman. I mean, I can make it happen tonight. I'm excited about this game. So it's a 10-10 game. Diamondbacks at Dodgers. It's only 7.5, though. That's a little scary. Only 69 degrees in LA with an 11-mile-an-hour wind blowing out to right center, though. So comfortable night. Only a 2.70 for the Diamondbacks because Mr. Kershaw, the respect for Kershaw, 4.80, which is, I think, a solid number, 4th highest on the slate for the Dodgers. Merrill Kelly, 8.1K, and I know he hasn't been terrible this year. And Clayton Kershaw, 9.7K. So I'm going to just tell you real quickly here. My BVP today is Freeman. Mr. Freeman is 6 for 14, 5 extra base hits out of those 6 against Mr. Kelly.
Yeah.
Home run. He's walked 3 times, a 1458 OPS, 929 slugging, 529 OBP, and a 429 average. I love Freeman in this matchup big time. And in the same game on the same team, my home run call is Mookie Betts. 7 for 20. What's that?
We got the same guy.
Oh, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Hey, I think last time we had Betts at both, he did homer. So I'm hoping that's the case.
Yeah, I believe so.
He's 7 for 20, 3 home runs out of those 7 hits, 1285 OPS, 850 slugging, 435 OBP, 350 average. Small sample sizes, but they hit him. And they're not the only 2 that hit Kelly. If you look at the hot chart today, you've got Lux, Turner, Bellinger, Metz, Muncy, and Freeman, and the other Turner. They're all on the hot list against him. So when I have not look at this. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Dodgers on the hot batter matchups list. I've not seen that this season, Crash.
Yeah, I haven't either. And that was my strategy, was I was going to probably play 4 in one lineup and 4 in the other. Like I'm that high on the Dodgers today. They're my number 1 stack.
Me too.
I also like Clayton Kershaw, which me, I'm usually not a Clayton Kershaw guy.
Wow.
But yeah, he's my favorite pay-up pitcher. And the last time that Merrill Kelly pitched in LA, he allowed 8 runs to the Dodgers. So yeah, the Dodgers are my favorite stack today by far.
They're my favorite stack as well. I'll have a little bit more of them than the splits mini stacks from that Coors game. But again, I'm ecstatic to have, the two cores teams and then the Dodgers being my
Dodgers,
main stack and being able to afford it. I've already built these lineups, and Miley, as scary as it is to put him in there, with that cheap number, he really does let you get in some of these big bats. So
yeah, I mean, I can definitely see it. And the Dodgers, they're like the 5th highest projected owned team, which
that's
not very high
what
at
I
all.
don't get. I don't get it, Crash.
Yeah, I don't either. I mean, that's way too low to me on a 7-game slate. You think they're the 5th best team? I don't buy that for a second.
I don't get it, and I guess it's because the Coors game's over-owned. But right now on DraftKings, they're projected at 6.8% owned as a stack.
Good gosh.
On Fanduel, 9.6%. I just don't get it, man.
No.
And on Yahoo, 7.1%. So I guess maybe the cost, I don't know what it is.
Yeah. People are probably paying up for Burns and Kershaw and whoever. And I guess they're just not getting the salary to get to the Dodgers because there's really no other good explanation for that. I mean, there's no reason they should be that low. I mean, I literally have my GPP stack, the Dodgers. I mean, they're my number 1 stack, and they're considered a GPP stack. It's insane.
It is crazy. So tell me a little bit more about Kershaw. What you're digging on Kershaw about?
His last couple starts, he's looked really good. I watched one of these games, which was actually the Arizona game. And in that game, he had 7 shutout innings and 5 strikeouts. So not a ton of strikeouts, but 46 fantasy points. The game before that, he had 40 fantasy points against the Giants, 6 innings, two allowed runs, and 8 strikeouts. So game before that against the Mets, 5 innings, one earned run, 6 strikeouts. I mean, those are some pretty, decent teams, I guess, somewhat, and decent numbers. So, yeah, I like, this team he just faced and playing at home this time. A little bit more of a pitcher-friendly park, I think. So, yeah.
I mean, I'd love to go to Kershaw as my number 2 pitcher instead of Miley, but that $3,000 is going to go to getting the bats from LA. So, I get it, man. I want to say hello to who else jumped in? Let's see. I think I already said hello to Jim A and Tony A and Little Monster. Joe K. What's up? Jumping Joe K has joined it. Coach a wild man, Jock Baum call now. Yes, with that ugly hair. Is that who we're talking about?
Yeah, he's saying that Jock's going to hit a home run. That's his.
I don't doubt it, man. Although, just don't take your hat off after you hit the homer. That's all I'm saying, because that is something spooky looking. All right, I came in late. Can I get your plays today? Thank you. Oh, Jim, you're late to the dance, man. Let's do a quick review. Then we'll do our prize picks and boom, and we'll get on down the road. How's that sound, Crash?
Sounds good.
All right, I am buying up to Mr. Wright from the Atlanta Braves as my top pitcher. How you doing, Rodney? How you doing, everybody? He's 88, 10, 1, and 44. I think very fair. Love the spot. Miley, I'm crossing my fingers. All I want, 25 fantasy points. You can do this, Mr. Miley. It's against this pathetic Miami Marlins team. You can do it. 6,600, 8,000. He's dirt cheap. He makes it work for me. I am fading Scherzer and Burns in that game. Call me crazy. It is what it is. I don't think Scherzer gets enough pitches. I think they'll just keep him under control. Burns hasn't been Burns. They don't strike out. I just think it's a tough spot for him. My BVP play is Philadelphia Freedom, Mr. Freeman. Mookie Betts, my home run call. My stacks, Dodgers number 1, and then the 2 cores teams, San Fran and Colorado 2 and 3. So a little chalky on my stacks, but Dodgers aren't getting stacked that much, and pitching's a little bit different than the norm. So I think we'll be contrarian enough, buddy.
I think so too. My pay-up pitcher is Clayton Kershaw. My value pitcher on FanDuel is Drew Rasmussen. On DraftKings, it's Edward Cabrera. My fade pitcher is Kyle Wright, and my BVP play is Christian Yelich. My stacks are Baltimore, Atlanta, and the Dodgers, like we just talked about. My home run call is also Mookie Betts. So that
Very
is
nice.
everything. Yep.
Maybe that's 2 home runs for Betts then tonight.
Hey, I'll take it.
We
I
will take that.
that.
I want to thank Boom Fantasy for being our presenting sponsor. We're going to get to our Boom Fantasy plays of the day. If you haven't tried out Boom Fantasy, try them out. The link is attached here on Twitter and on YouTube. So you'll see that right in our bio here attached. Or you can go to our website, dfscoachtalk.com, if you want to join, or the Boom Fantasy. You can click on it right there, download the app, and you're going to be good to go. If you're on YouTube right now, take a half a second, hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and hit the alert, because you never know. Like today, we decided to go an hour early with the weird 6:40 start and everything going on. So you want to have that alert click so you know when we do go live, so you can filter in. I'll always kill the first 5 minutes or so chirping, so you won't miss anything if you funnel in from there. All right, my friend. Top 2 PrizePicks plays of the day. What do you got?
For my top 2 PrizePicks plays of the day, I have Christian Yelich at over 5. He's gone over that number in his last 7 straight games. So
his over fantasy score is 5.
5. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, going up against Scherzer, but I mean he's got good numbers against Scherzer, and like I said, 7 straight starts over 5. So
you don't normally see 5. That's
right.
That's a pretty cool play. I missed that. Thank you for pointing that one out.
And then my second play is our home run call, Mookie Betts over 7.5 fantasy score.
My Mookie Betts over 7.5 is my number 1 call.
Nice.
So we are bets or busts today. Mm-hmm. My second call is Mr. Scherzer under 6 or 6.5 Ks. It's been moving. I've seen both numbers up there. So I have them under 6 Ks on PrizePicks and under 6.5 on Boom. So check them both. Mm-hmm. Certainly rather get the 6.5 number. I just don't think he goes deep enough here. Yeah. And, they're not the worst team striking out. They make contact. So I like Scherzer under on both of them. So Boom under 6.5 Ks and Freeman over 1.5 total bases is my second play on Boom Fantasy.
Okay. I also have that Scherzer play at 6.5 because of the same reason. I don't think he's going to pitch long enough, to get to 7. I agree. Yep. And then I have the Clayton Kershaw under 4.5 hits. He only allowed 2 in his last start against the Diamondbacks. So perfect. I like under at 5. Yeah.
All right, my friends. I think that is it. A quiet little tidy slate here. So that really sums it all up. Tomorrow we're back at our regular time, 5:00, huge evening slate, right? I believe there's an evening slate that's a good evening slate tomorrow. So.
I have not even checked that yet. Let me see.
Yeah, and if you ever want to check our podcast schedule, you can always look. If you're a member, we have a channel. It's just hashtag podcast schedule. We also have it posted and pinned on Twitter at DFS Coach Talk. So yeah,
15 games tomorrow night.
15 games tomorrow night. So it'll be a big show at 5 p.m. Eastern. Keep letting us know too what time you like, because we move around. We've been trying 11, 1:30, 4, 5. So we're trying a few different things until we can get the most people that enjoy that particular time. So, all right. Any final words, Crash?
No, let's just keep it rolling. We had a really good weekend and in both sports, but specifically in baseball. So let's crush it once again.
Absolutely. And congratulations on your big wins, King of Smack. Look forward to getting those posted and we'll definitely share in those. So to everybody in here, one last quick shout out, because it's you guys that give us the motivation to do this every day. And it is a grind sometimes. So we really do appreciate you. Nathan Feudy, King of all trades, RJ, King of Smack, Boy from Cali, Bev, JT, Fear Money Entertainment, Pain Blank SM, Jim Parrish, Audrey Reese, Tony A, Joe K, Rodney Pollard, Emerson's Baby Gap Shirt, and Mark McLennan. That is pretty much everybody. Hopefully, I didn't miss anybody. If I did, I am sorry about that, but I do appreciate all of you. Thank you, Crash, for joining in. I think this is going to be a nice momentum. I see me posting the picture of the guy on fire walking. I see that coming tonight because I think we're going to go after all these slates. So
sounds good to me.
Yep, 6:40 mark is the start time for these two main slates. You know, this sounds cheap but it is funny. You will get about 2-3% of the lineups that people think it's 7:05 and don't get their lineups in. So hey, every 2 or 3% that increases your chances of winning helps. So I like it as well.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, enjoy the 2 football games tonight. Crash and our man Stephen Miller, Time Miller, will be posting lineups for those 2 NFL games too. So you'll be able to flip back and forth and check those out. Which one, King of Smack wants to know, do I pay up for Atlanta or Baltimore? They're both expensive. I'm not going to load up on either one of them. I'm going with the 2 Coors games and the Dodgers. I would slightly lean Atlanta over Baltimore. I know Crash likes both of those stacks. I'm hoping those 2 don't go off. I'll be waiting on those late 2 games, but they're both tempting. But to answer your question, I'd lean towards the Braves.
Yeah, I agree. On Fanduel, you don't have to pay up for Baltimore, so that's why I like them. They're kind of a site-dependent stack. So on Fanduel, Baltimore, on everywhere else, Atlanta.
Perfect. All right, everybody, enjoy your evening. It's Monday. Day 1 is going to be under our belts already for another week as we motor through the month of September here, getting closer and closer every day to the NBA. Ask Dirk and all my fans back here of friends that's not that far off, guys. I'm telling you right now. So that's when we really shine, when we have NBA, NFL, and the MLB playoffs going on. It doesn't get much more fun than that.
For sure.
All right. Have a great day, everybody, and enjoy the slate this evening. For members, we'll be posting lineups about 25 minutes before that 6:40 lock, so you can catch those in there. So have a great one. We'll both be back at 5 p.m. Eastern tomorrow to go over the 15-game main evening slate in Major League Baseball. All right, have a great one, and we'll see you again tomorrow when we look to crush it in MLB, DFS, Prize Picks, and Boom Fantasy.